It was a bright spring morning. Banners waved in the wind, cameras flashed, and proud families filled the stadium seats for Eastlake High School's graduation ceremony. Among them stood Master Sergeant Elijah Brooks, a retired Marine Corps veteran, holding back tears of pride. Today was the day his only son, Jamal Brooks, would walk across that stage and accept his high school diploma. But just minutes before the ceremony began, something happened that changed everything. 2 security guards walked up to Elijah. Without introducing themselves properly, they coldly asked him to step aside. The reason? Someone had reported disturbance and said Elijah didn't look like a parent. Despite showing his ID and explaining he was Jamal's father, the guards insisted he leave the premises or they would escort him out. Whispers began to stir. A few parents glanced over. Elijah stood still, calm, but visibly shocked. This wasn't just a misunderstanding. It was a moment loaded with insult, disrespect, and the sting of prejudice. Elijah didn't argue. That's not how he was raised, and not how he had trained in the Marine Corps. With a deep breath, he slowly turned to walk away from the event he had dreamed of attending for years. Jamal, sitting among his classmates, saw everything. At first, he thought maybe his dad had forgotten something or was just stepping away for a quick call. But then he noticed the tense exchange. He recognized that look on his father's face, the same look Elijah had when he didn't want to show pain. Confused and heartbroken, Jamal began to tear up. His father had never missed a milestone in his life. Birthdays, Little League games. Even during his deployment overseas, Elijah found ways to connect. And now, on the biggest day of his life, Jamal's graduation, his father was being pushed away? But what happened next was something no one in the crowd saw coming. Unbeknownst to the guards, 6 men had witnessed the entire exchange from just a few rows back. These weren't ordinary men. They were former Navy SEALs, battle-tested, highly disciplined, and fiercely loyal to their fellow servicemen. And more importantly, they were close friends of Elijah. Elijah and these SEALs had served in Afghanistan together. He had once saved the life of one of their brothers during a firefight, dragging him to safety while under heavy fire. These men owed him and respected him more than words could express. As Elijah quietly exited the seating area, one of the SEALs, Commander Ryan Blake, stood up. "Excuse me," he called out, his voice booming across the crowd. People turned. Blake pointed at the guards. "That man you just asked to leave? That's Master Sergeant Elijah Brooks, a 22-year veteran of the United States Marine Corps. He served this country so that people like you could stand here today, and you just disrespected him in front of his son." The stadium fell into silence. Even the principal paused mid-speech. The 6 SEALs walked down toward Elijah, who had now stopped at the edge of the parking lot. They didn't yell. They didn't confront. Instead, they formed a respectful line beside him, like a military honor guard. Then, in perfect unison, they saluted. For a full 10 seconds, the only sound was the rustle of flags in the wind. The audience, struck by the gravity of the moment, slowly began to stand up, row by row, until nearly the entire stadium was on its feet. One by one, people began to clap. The applause grew louder and louder until it echoed across the entire field like rolling thunder. Elijah, normally stoic and composed, felt his throat tighten. He nodded respectfully to his friends, then looked up at the stage. There, standing tall, was his son Jamal, holding his diploma high in the air, tears streaming down his face. He wasn't just graduating. He was witnessing the true meaning of honor. After the ceremony, the school principal personally apologized to Elijah and invited him to a private reception for honored guests. The guards were quietly removed from duty pending investigation. But more importantly, a conversation had begun, one that the school community desperately needed. The story of Elijah and the SEALs went viral within 24 hours, not because it was sensational, but because it was deeply human. People across the country were reminded that respect isn't something you demand. It's something you earn and something you give. In interviews that followed, Elijah never expressed anger. "I'm not mad," he said calmly. "I've faced worse in combat. I just hope my story reminds people to see each other as human beings first. We all carry invisible stories, scars, and truths. Don't judge someone by their uniform or their skin. Jamal later said the moment taught him more than any textbook ever could. That day, I learned what courage looks like. Not in war, but in dignity, in grace, and in standing tall when the world tries to push you down. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This isn't just a story about injustice. It's a story about loyalty, respect, and the power of unity in the face of ignorance. There are Elijahs in every community, unsung heroes who ask for nothing but deserve everything. Let's not wait for viral moments to honor them. Let's start today. Subscribe to the channel for more stories like this that motivate us to give respect to everyone, and drop your comment in the comment section when you start to give honor and respect to everyone.